In a world of magic, the Dark Lord Satan, with his 4 generals, Adramelech, Lucifer, Alcil, and Malakota, lead a campaign to conquer the multiple island continent of Enteila and enslave the human population. However, a brave hero soon arose to lead the human troops against the dark forces, driving them back to their stronghold. With the help of Alcil, Satan confronts the hero but eventually acknowledges defeat, instead opening a dimensional gateway and leaving their realm with a vow to return. The portal opens in modern-day Japan, and Satan and Alcil are transported to the nearby police station, where they are astonished at their new human bodies. Here, Satan can learn a little about this new, magical free world. As events develop, Satan and Alcil adopt new identities, as Sato Ma and Shir Ashia respectively, and are able to get housing, create bank accounts, and look for work in order to survive. Later, on his way to his part-time work at MG Ronald's, Sato comes across a gorgeous crimson-haired girl, and to protect her from the rain at a crosswalk, he offers her his umbrella. While Sato was working, he delegated Ashia to look after their domestic requirements and investigate ways to restore their magical powers and return to Enteila. Sato not only encounters a seemingly random small earthquake while at MG Ronald's, but he also struggles with whether to use his remaining magic to repair the broken friars, eventually not getting a chance to either way. Nonetheless, he is able to acquire permanent employment by impressing his co-worker Chiho Sasaki with his skills as well as the higher-ups with his dedication. As he rides his bike home to notify Ashia, he is accosted again by the crimson-haired girl Emilia Justina, who is revealed to be the hero of their world. It reveals Emilia and her companion follow Satan and Alcil through a dimensional portal. In the present, Emilia sees Sato and attempts to attack him with a knife, but they both end the fight because they have not yet retracted their powers. Later, Emilia pays them a visit, and Shiro, stunned, locks her out only to let her back in after Sato discreetly explains the situation. Emilia then explains how she and Alba Mayet intended to pursue them through a dimensional vortex, but only Emilia ends up here. She then reveals her name is Emi Yusa, which he has taken in this new world. Emi keeps watching Sato and Shiro for the next few days while, after getting to know their good, simple lifestyle, she leads to question Sato about his intentions to stay in Japan. They are suspiciously attacked, causing Emi to lose her cash and leaving her with no choice but to stay at Sato's apartment. Emi curses her situation while later that night, Sato receives a weird SMS from Chiho warning them about earthquakes. In the morning, Chiho gets ready for her meeting with Sato while Emi receives an oddly anonymous call from the same opponent who shot at them the night before. However, Sato gets apprehended by police by his abandoned bicycle from the area he and Emi had been attacked, and Emi is summoned as his attendant by police, which enrage her. Later, Sato meets Chiho for their date, and she tells him about the strange earthquake texts she's been receiving, which Sato deduces are the result of a magical communication system. As Emi and Shiro walk into the cafe, she interrupts Sato and Chiho's moment just as a massive earthquake hits. When Chiho briefly awakens in the midst of the catastrophe, she meets Emi, who casts a sleep spell on her and summons Satan, who appears from the ruins in his demonic form. Emi considers executing him with her remaining power, but Satan shocks her by facilitating their escape from the collapsed mall, leaving Emi perplexed as to why he has been nice. After Satan clears the rubble and keeps everyone safe outside the mall, Emi gets flashbacks to her previous life, which she spent peacefully with her father before heading for training against demons. After her father was assassinated by Satan's forces and her village was assaulted, she determined their revenge to slay Satan with her hands. In the present time, before they both leave, Sato tells her about the earthquake, which only strikes when both of them are present. Emi then spends the night with her co-worker Rika Suzuki before visiting Sato and falling down the stairwell of Sato's residence the next day. As Sato tries to aid her with her injuries, his extraordinary generosity bothers Emi, and she reveals why she wants him dead. Sato bemoans his inability to grasp other people's emotions until Shiro and Chiho intervene. Chiho encounters a strange guy on the street with black wings who eventually reveals himself to be Satan's demon general, Lucifer. After seeing Lucifer, Emi wonders how Lucifer escaped their previous encounter on Enteila. Sato then reveals it because of the help of her former colleague Alba Maya, who vowed to deliver Lucifer to heaven in exchange for his assistance. Simultaneously, Alba surprises Emi by presenting himself there. Lucifer then begins attacking Sato and Emi, wreaking havoc on the city. The combat shifts when Sato transforms into his demonic form. Shido watches as Satan finishes Alba and then Lucifer with an astounding multi-layered magical punch. Emeralda, Etva, and Albertio end. Emi's Enteila companions arrive shortly after through a portal, reconcile with Emi, and disclose the Church's corrupt position on Enteila. Albertio then describes how he connected with Emi via the sonar and idea link spells, which accidentally Chiho got instead. Later at MG Ronald, Sato admits to Chiho that he still has the power to erase her memory, prompting her to yell at him. In Enta'ila, a girl reports to the Church's headquarters about Archbishop Alba, who sends false news about the death of the Dark Lord and Emilia, as well as the capture of Emeralda and Albertio. She then discusses with priests all of the ramifications that will occur if others find out about their survival. Meanwhile, Lucifer, who is now wanted by the police in connection with previous robberies, moves in with Sato and shares Hanzo Yurishihara and learns how to use the internet. After Hanzo discovers paranormal activity in an abandoned high school classroom, Sato and Shiro are assigned to go there in order to find a gate to their world, which later appears to be Chiho's school. During their inspection, they encounter Emi, who is stalking them, and it turns out that Hanzo has ordered them to retrieve his PS Vic game, which he had left there during his visit. Later, when Sato arrives home from work, he discovers a new renter who has fallen down their stairs. The next morning, Suzuno Kamizuki, who had fallen down their apartment building's stairwell the night before, visits Sato, Shiro, and Hanzo and presents them with a package of udon noodles as a pleasant gesture. Emeralda also sends Emi a package containing a special power-boosting drink bottle. Emi has been stalking them again outside their apartment, but when Suzuno opens the door, Emi rushes down the stairs and falls as usual. Suzuno returns to Sato's apartment and introduces herself to Emi, who warns her not to approach Sato too closely even though Suzuno is from Enta'ila and recognizes Emi. Suzuno gives Sato a handcrafted lunchbox before sending him off to work, where he is promoted to shift supervisor. While Emi is being watched outside MG Ronald, Emeralda contacts Emilia and informs her about the present situation and rumors in the state. While shopping at a convenience store, Emilia is accosted by a masked man with a magical laser. Following that, Emi receives a phone call from Chiho, who is jealous of Sato's packed lunch. Chiho and Emi arrive at Sato's apartment and are surprised to see Suzuno still assisting him, which confuses Chiho. Later, when Sato brings Chiho home, she professes her feelings for him, which Suzuno overhears and is taken aback by Sato's sincere response to those who love him. Suzuno then introduces herself as Kresha Bell, an Enta'ila resident, and informs Emi that the Church of Enta'ila has assigned her to investigate any information on the missing Alba May. Suzuno also asks Emi to return to Enta'ila and confront the church about the cover-up surrounding Alba's betrayal. Later, Senteki Fried Chicken, a new fast food restaurant across the street from MG Ronald's, opens its doors, and its manager, Mitsuki Saru, walks into MG Ronald's to judge the competition. Finally, Suzuno waits for Emi after work and expresses a desire to see Sato's job at MG Ronald. Simultaneously, Rika misinterprets Suzuno and Emi's relationship as a lover's feud or Sato, much to Emi's annoyance. For Tanabata Festival, which is already underway, Rika, Emi, and Suzuno travel to Hatagaya to attend it. Emi begins fiercely abusing Sato as she furiously attempts to reject Rika's concept of her and Sato being a pair, but she is cut off by Shiro, who had been spying on Senteki for Sato. However, after a few fast welcomes and some chit-chat, Ashia finally cleared up Rika's uncertainty concerning Emi and Sato. Meanwhile, Sato is at a loss for what to do as MG Ronald's company continues to lose ground to Senteki for the festival, but eventually decides to keep his workers busy until a better business opportunity shows itself. Sato then hits the idea and decides to have his workers redecorate the franchise in front of the bamboo plants. Suzuno notices a strange purple aura hovering above the crowd in front of MG Ronald, which confirms her concerns about Sato. Kazaki, inspired by Sato's prior business success, begs Sato to aid her friend in the business at Fushima Park during a fair. Suzuno overhears their chat and tells Emi about the Dark Lord's intentions, while Hanzo tells Sato about the new haunted house in Fushima Park and how they can transfer people's fear into magic. When Shiva later contacts Emi and invites her to attend the fair, she accepts and brings Suzuno with her. The next day, Sato continues his work at the park's MG Ronans, while the girls enjoy the fair and visit the haunted house. Later, while visiting the exhibition, Emi becomes terrified and collides with the worker, causing him to misplace his keys. A circus monkey picks up those keys and unlocks the crocodile exhibit. However, people scream in terror as the crocodiles escape into the water park. Sato absorbs their dread and, using his spell, calms the crocodile. When the girls return home, Suzuno is perplexed as to why a devil would save humanity and notices an unusual presence. The next day, Shiro becomes gravely ill after Mickey sends Sato several product boxes from Hawaii to sell at the shopping district fair. Suzuno recalls her previous employment as a church executioner, killing her enemies. Sato eventually asks his companions to assist him in moving all of the boxes to the shopping center and then departs for his job. Suzuno encounters the unknown presence who looks to be Archangel Sariel and is forced to kill Sato, but she hesitates. Later that night, while walking with Emi and Shiho, Suzuno discloses her genuine intentions of killing Sadao and reveals Sadao's true identity to Shiho. Suzuno grows enraged and goes away after Emi and Shiho refuse to kill Sadao because of his benevolence. Shiho and Emi are suddenly attacked by Archangel Sariel, and Shiho's mother contacts Sadao to inform him that Shiho has not yet returned home. Sadao uses GPS to locate Emi and rushes toward them. Shiro does not recover, so Hanzo summons an ambulance for him. When Shiro goes out of his hospital room, Orba, the church master, confronts him and snatches his insurance card, which has his address printed on it. On the other hand, Sariel captures Emilia and Shiho with the assistance of Suzuno and transports them to the top of a building. Suzuno immediately strikes and beats Satan Sadao as he breaks through Sariel's barrier. She is astonished to learn that Sadao and his members are already aware of her actual nature, and she is ashamed of her actions because, unlike Sadao, she's abandoned her friends. Sadao arrives at the top of the building, making Shiho and Emilia joyful, but Sariel quickly beats him owing to his lack of power. Meanwhile, near their fight, Orba uses Emilia's drink to release his magic and perform a spell that frightens the entire city. This grants Satan enormous ability to reclaim his original body and aids him in defeating Sariel. Shiho has an odd dream about Sadao returning to his realm. When she tells Sadao, he claims he can't return to his planet because he used much of his power restoring the city from his and Sariel's fight. Sadao unexpectedly requests a shift change the following day at work from Kazaki. When Shiho hears this, he becomes concerned that Sadao will return to his world. Shiho and Emi decide to follow Sadao to see what he is up to and discover that Sadao has taken an extra job to pay for Hanzo's GPS fee. They later find Hanzo purchasing a fraud at Sadao's house. When Sadao and Emi go to the merchant to get a refund, they discover Shiro and a manager who refuse to accept the return. However, Emi eventually resolves the matter. And it all ends under the sky of happiness when Emi gives Sadao a new umbrella, and he thanks her in return to get a smile from her. Thank you very much for watching. Annie Caps here, and make sure to subscribe for future content.